Let's go to safety first, and this week we're talking about CRW and canopy flocking with our good friend Brian Germain. Hey, Brian, how you doing today?
Hello, Dave. I'm doing fantastic. This is so cool. Skydive Radio's the bomb.
Oh, jeez. Oh, thank you. I think you're the bomb, Brian.
Oh, you're so sweet.
How does one safely do their first crew dock?
Oh, wow. Well, the truth is, it's like, how do you do your first your first base jump safely? That's a long answer, isn't it? The crew has to begin, to me, with no contact flight. Before you just fly up and sting somebody, especially if if you don't have a plan. So you know what it's called, right? If somebody, like, for instance, I'm not going to say any specific names, but Mark Cruzy flies up and rams his canopy into your butt without your permission. You know what that's called, right? Of course, sky rape.
Oh, yeah. That's new to me.
Yes, Mark Cruzy has sky raped many people, including me. So what you do is you start off, with a really good plan. You go with somebody that is less concerned about this kind of thing, that is flying a canopy that is in the ballpark within maybe 3 sizes of yours. It doesn't have to be the same size and wing loading. And just fly near them, fly in a side-by-side formation where you can see each other, you can communicate, you can give signals, have clear signals, not only for break off, but for turn to the left. And what does, when I say turn to the left, mean? Are we talking about, 5 degrees? Or are we talking about 45 or more? What about, adding brakes? What about doing a 180-degree turn? All of those signals can be sort of worked out ahead of time. And so I'm a huge fan of people that are not on crew canopies per se, flying in formation. I call that Canopy Freeflying. Right? It's a no contact flying. And so you get used to being in proximity, and at first 50 feet away seems incredibly close. And after a while, it is, you start to get that the homeostasis of risk starts to morph your perception of the situation. Hey, 50 feet feels pretty good now. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to 30 feet, and before you know it, you're rubbing end cells. So you start with that stuff. You should still have a plan for what if it goes badly. You should still have a hook knife or 2. You should have loads of altitude. I'd recommend doing it on a day where there's not a lot of wind, so that you're pretty close to the drop zone and you're not sketched out by being 1.5 miles upwind. And just kind of plan every aspect of it, and don't plan a lot. Just plan. Let's get together, and then you're going to flare and I'm going to flare. Or you're going to hold still and I'm going to experiment with this and that and the other thing to see what the relative differences are. But before you go grabbing other canopies, I think that it's a good idea to do 8 or 10 of these at least. And when you finally decide, all right, I'm ready. I want to stick my feet into somebody's lines. Use a crew canopy. Don't just, go off on some, katana or something. You want to have thick lines that are less likely to slice into you or slice parts of your body off. If you get into a wrap, you want a canopy that's docile if things do go weird. Basically, a canopy that has, that's geared towards this, like it doesn't have cascaded center cell lines. That kind of thing makes things just flow a hell of a lot easier. Most of us on our first crew dock, there wasn't much plan, and things went a little weird, and you get like a foot stuck in a center cell. Like my first time, I was Barry whaling actually up in Malone Parachute Club, just whaled into my butt after I think I probably had about 35, 40 jumps. And I grabbed onto him, and I got stuffed so far into his center cell I could barely see daylight. And I climbed my way out of it and got down his lines, and we did a nice little side-by-side and down plane. And afterwards, he said, "So, Brian, how many crew jumps do you have?" I said, "Well, I have 1, Barry." So I think that a little planning goes a long way when it comes to this. Do you have any thoughts about that, Dave?
I think your point about getting somebody with some experience to kind of take you up and show you and talk about it ahead of time is the best thing.
Yep.
Don't go try and just figure it out. When we started doing crew, that's kind of the way we did it. We bought a book.
Yeah.
that was written like in the 70s or something, and not a whole lot of detailed description, and just went, okay, let's try.
Yeah, exactly.
And back in those days, we were all jumping cruise lights and cruise light XLs and stuff like that. They're a little more docile. Today, with modern canopies, you could probably get into trouble a little bit easier. So I think cruise specific canopy is a good tip as well.
Absolutely. Well, there's plenty of them out there. They've gotten better over the years. Their landings are better than they used to be. So yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't just use the right gear.
All right. He also, this listener that sent this in, I think part of the reason he wanted us to talk about this was he says he's got a lot of friends that are just afraid to get close to canopies in the air, and he thinks that this could maybe help them feel more comfortable when they go to kind of large events or boogies and there's lots of traffic, you know what I mean? So Do you think that's, maybe you don't even, to do that, maybe the canopy flocking stuff is all you really need to do. Just get used to flying in proximity. You don't really need to do any docking to make somebody feel comfortable to be closer to canopies.
No, as a matter of fact, docking might actually make your concerns worse. Because
if it goes wrong, especially,
he can freak you out. But yeah, I mean, if you just get used to being near somebody and not just being there but maneuvering, and realizing that if you keep eye contact and you keep communicating with hand signals and things, you don't have to be any more stressed than you are when you're in free fall near somebody. The flying continues. That's all it is. Just keep communicating, and everything will generally work out great.
Yeah, then you don't need that specialized equipment either. We oftentimes do canopy flocking dives with little highly loaded parachutes. Get 3 or 4 guys with fast parachutes just flying close together. We're not taking grips, but just flying next to each other. That's fun.
Oh, it's absolutely fun. And then the kind of people that do that are the kind of people that I want to be in the pattern with. You know what I mean? If I happen to look over and I see somebody there, and it's somebody that is absolutely terror locked and staring at the target, and they're all stiff, and you can tell, and you whistle or you kick your legs, and they don't even look at you because they're terrified to look around. I don't want to be near that dudes, but the kind of people that are comfortable and calm and continue maneuvering in the pattern and waving at you and stuff. I don't mind having one above, one below, one on each side of me with that kind of people. You
mentioned kicking your legs. This is maybe a little off topic, but that's kind of the universal sign for, hey, I see you.
Yeah, makes you feel better, doesn't it?
It makes me feel better when somebody's kicking them at me, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad you see me.
I'm blown away though when I fly up near somebody, and I'm not really a sky rapist, but I do like to visit people. Even if they haven't planned it, and I fly defensively, and I get in their general vicinity, maybe 100 feet away, or maybe even a little bit less, and I'm blown away. And they give me nothing but helmet. I don't see their eyes at all. And so
nothing but helmet. That's a good shirt. You give me nothing but helmet.
Yeah. There it is. Yeah, you got to keep your head on a swivel throughout your day on the drop zone, particularly under canopy.
All right, Brian, we can learn more from you in person at one of your canopy courses. Do you do free fly coaching? You used to do a lot of free fly coaching too.
I still do. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's the call for it has diminished to a certain degree because there's so many people that do that. There's a lot of people that are qualified to teach free flying and that sort of thing, but the canopy flying stuff, it struck me many, many years ago as my calling, because that's where the need is. That's where people are getting hurt.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm happy to do it.
All right. More information on everything you're up to at transcendingfear.com.
Yep. Lots of good stuff there.
We'll talk to you soon.